And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, and Game Source. We truly appreciate everyone out there listening to all of our great shows. And if you can, what's up, Z? What's up? Please give us that 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Plus, if you can like, share, subscribe, follow, or do whatever it is that you can to support us right here at the Lakers Fast Break Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture every single week, twice a week on radio and wherever you get your podcast. Plus, Game Source, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, and Fantasy Football is going crazy after this past weekend, and we'll discuss it all in Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Plus, the folks at LakersBall.com will tell you right now, my gosh, so much to talk about. Big shout out to Ox 1947 and the Lakers Ball crew for holding down the fort during our live watch party at playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. Go ahead and join all the fun. Lakers Ball crew was there at LakersBall.com. Go ahead and check out the conversation that Ox 1947 is leading today at LakersBall.com. Our good friends at Lakerholics.com, Jamie Sweet, who was here on Friday. Big shout out to him, and Laker Tom, the number one Lakers blogger that's out there. Go ahead and follow them today at Lakerholics.com. Plus our good friends at the Hoopheads Podcast Network. And if you want your lawn transformed into something much better than it is today, and of course you are in the Southern California area, please go ahead and check out Sinblades, Sinblades with the Y.com. And if you could do all that, plus like, share, and subscribe, big thumbs up. Please subscribe below Joe, right there on YouTube. Like the page on Facebook. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter. I know Twitter's kind of controversial, but we're kind of like under the radar. We'll still go ahead and do that. Instagram. You can also follow us on Instagram. I'm doing stuff there too, and you never know. We might even throw another Joe video on TikTok, so go ahead and follow us there as well. Joe trending on TikTok, only at the Lakers Fast Break, and if you can support all of that, it is sincerely appreciated. Well, I will tell you right now, it was kind of disheartening. We finally gave you the news last night on Saturday that Anthony Davis is now expected to be out several weeks, possibly a month, 5 weeks. They were kind of guesstimating on that with the right foot issue. Didn't specify the right foot issue, and hopefully it will not necessitate surgery, because then you could pretty much just done for the season again. And Joe and everyone else out there has been talking about it. Street clothes, AD, my gosh, AD, brittle AD. I've heard it all in the past 24 hours. But the one thing still remains is that the Lakers still have to play some games, and LeBron James is still around to play them. And I know LeBron James has been the source of conversation, not only with us, but with everyone out there as far as, oh, he's getting old, he can't do it anymore, yada, yada, yada. Every game, it's just you don't know what you're going to get. Is he just playing for himself or playing for the record? Well, you know what? Tonight, we needed every bit of LeBron James, and almost got too much LeBron James right there, because tonight they played the Washington Wizards. The Washington Wizards came into the Crypt to face off against the Lakers, and after a good, strong first half by the Lakers unfortunately had their third quarter woes again, getting outscored by 15 in the third quarter and falling behind in the fourth quarter until a nice comeback and a just back and forth game with just a couple minutes left, and it came down to the wire with one last shot. And who took it for the Lakers? Right there, looked like it was going to be LeBron James, but no, he fumbled the ball away, tried to pass it. Unfortunately, it got tipped. They were scrambled for the ball. He actually got it back and made a quick pass to Thomas Bryant, who chipped in today with 16 points and 10 rebounds. I was thinking Joe early. I should have mentioned this to him. I said 15-11. If you can average 15-11 while 80's out, we're pretty good. We're going to be a good, decent standing. But I'll take 16 and 10 right there for you. Plus also as well, Austin Reaves, he did turn his ankle in the second half, but he did come back plus 15 and 12 points overall. Very good game for him. But in the end, it was all about LeBron James. 33 points, 9 assists, including that big one at the end, 7 rebounds, and even a last second shot by Kyle Kuzma of the Washington Wizards fell short. And the Lakers squeak out a victory, 119 to 117 in the first game of 2 within less than 24 hours, as the Lakers now go to 13 and 16. And I'll tell you what, it was we finally got the basketball gods on our sides for once on one of these close games. And here today to go ahead and talk about the game. Good man indeed. You got to go ahead and check out what he's doing today at Simblades, simbladeswithY.com, and of course, LakersBall.com. Thanks so much again to Joe Soro, aka Ox1947, for leading the charge for us right here at the live watch party. My friend, it was a thriller, but in the end, again, my gosh, the ball was all over the floor. LeBron was fortunate to pick it up and made the right pass at the right time.
Well, see, that was part of the plan. He was going to act like he was going to turn it over,
just the way
knowing it would clear the lane, and then boom, find the guy under the basket, 2 points, no timeouts for the Wiz. Kuzma, we knew Kuzma was going to make that shot. Win.
By the way, Joshua Dietz, our super fan on Facebook, says, great job on the watch party. I was on the road the entire game, so I was there in and out until my phone went dead. So great job, Joe. Great job.
Thank you. I did nothing, I'll be honest. If it was entertaining, I'm happy you did well, but I'm a harsh critic of myself, so I don't really know what I did, but I'm glad it was entertaining for you all. I did catch
Valuetainment.
I did.
Remember,
Valuetainment. Thank you. I did catch myself screaming a few times on some plays and realizing, I got an audience too that's hearing it. The game was entertaining. It's a good phrase for a mid-December game in the NBA. It was entertaining. It was a back and forth contest of two teams that at this point are pretty even. If not the Lakers, kind of a little bit better because you do have LeBron James on the team. I didn't know where this was going to go. It seemed kind of weird towards the end where Reaves got hurt, Lonnie got hurt, and it just looked like a bad dream that just is not stopping.
That's right. Lonnie Walker the fourth also got hurt after getting off to a really good start. I'm going to go check the statuses of each of the guys right now on Twitter, but yeah, I mean, in that second half, it really was concerning with another bad third quarter.
And, in the Zangerstein mentioned something that I was thinking
she's
about.
Awesome. Yeah, just terrific. Absolutely. Thank you for being part of our chat.
Yes, she mentioned how the floor opened up a little bit more with Schroeder out. Yes. It's so weird how the simplest thing, whether you do it on purpose or not, can change every series, every possession. It is one of the just unreal scenarios that are going on in the NBA this year. I'm talking, there was a time where you had the same starting lineups, you had the same rotations remember I was telling you how you had the starters and then they play the first quarter, then most of the guys that were starting would be sitting down the first 6 minutes of the second quarter, then they'd come back to the last half of the quarter, then they play all of the third, and then they sit down the first six. For years, that's what I was used to. For years, I was used to continuity in so many different areas. But in the NBA today, oh man, every possession is a momentum change. And it's because of one guy because he can't shoot, or one guy because he's better going to the hole, or it's one guy that can't do any of it. And then you take that guy out for, foul purposes, or you want to put somebody in for rest, and then all of a sudden the whole offense changes. It is so weird and so hard to get used to this status, the standard way of playing basketball in the NBA now, which is you are going to be hot and cold at the same time. Let's just call it what it is. It's frozen heat. We're playing frozen heat. And
That almost sounds like a cheap 80s knockoff movie.
Sure. Yeah.
Like a buddy cop movie.
Good. Yes. Those were great movies in the 80s. Frozen Heat.
Can you handle the
And you got we know everything came out of the whole Lethal Weapon era, right? So everybody
some of the first one was really good.
It was. I watched that at least once every couple of months just because one of my favorite scenes, of course, is when Riggs is trying to buy, stuff from a Christmas tree lot. And at the time when I was a kid watching that, I knew he was buying or trying to buy drugs as a sting, but all the dialogue that happens in it just doesn't compute until I got older. But that's what this is. It is a good cop, bad cop in the same room. So the 80s was what's our favorite word? A precursor to what the NBA has turned into, which is
now on the back cursor because valuetainment is now superseded.
Which is this bad cop, good cop together making it work, and it can go bad and it can go good all in the same time. And I don't know what to say other than I'm just happy we won the game. I'm anticipating getting smoked tomorrow. Hopefully I'm surprised, but we're going to get smoked tomorrow. So losing this game would have been catastrophic even more.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. So
no reports on Lonnie Walker, by the way.
So here's what I noticed after Reaves got hurt. There's something that Reaves has on this team that seems to ignite them. And sometimes it's not even him playing in a way where, I think when he came back, he had to sit back down, and then Lonnie got hurt, then he got back in. So sometimes Reaves just enhances the team just by being in the game. And then, of course, towards the end there, LeBron kept finding him for those floaters and ended up really probably putting us over the top to win this game. The margin of error is 0 unless you're playing a team of the same ilk, which is what Washington was to a degree. Porzingis showed tonight why he's probably a bust. Now, that's kind of harsh. He's not.
I think it is. The guy's averaging 23 points on the season.
Okay. He's a bust in the sense of what he should be, but I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Because if Porzingis really wanted to, if Porzingis would just stop playing patty cake out there, the Wizards would have won this in a runaway.
He is a finesse player. He 21-11, but most of his stuff tried to come outside. He took 9 3-pointers. He is a finesse player. You're right. If he tried to go ahead and bang inside and dominate with his height, the game would have probably been over by in that third quarter. But
Darvin Ham,
a finesse player.
You're right. And Darvin Ham, I'd say I've realized it around about 2 months in here. He has done really well at taking Westbrook out in these kind of games.
Yeah, Dr. Nukes also pointed that out. That he just
Dr. Nuke was nuking everything he was saying tonight. He might as well have predicted, the winning lottery tickets tonight. He was just hitting it on all cylinders.
I don't know, Eddie. I still have a kind of soft spot for Porzingis. I understand he gets hurt a lot. I understand he's soft, but if you had AD and him as your back line, that wouldn't be too bad.
What do they say?
You could do worse.
In a vacuum. In a vacuum, it's good.
But it would be great for the MASH unit.
I still don't know what that means, by the way, and I'm not going to get into it. But outside the vacuum,
it would be great. It would be great for the med cleaning.
Well, yeah, outside the vacuum, one little, and are they going to be out for a month?
Yeah,
one of them is. That's
You'd have to rename it the Los Angeles Street Clothes.
There you go. My play of the game is Reaves coming back from the locker room, limping. And he turned into
Willis Reed style.
He turned into Austin Reed. instead of Reaves.
Did you want him to do the Paul Pierce thing where he comes out in the wheelchair?
No, I didn't want him skipping. No,
Okay.
no, I didn't want him skipping. That was
I
that,
know.
that,
I know. Juan Velasquez says he was glad to see Damian Jones give a nice contribution off the bench. This was probably one of his best games, if not his best game of the year so far. I know I had said in the early part of the game that I think the team should take another look at Jay Huff, who's leading the G League in block shots, because I really didn't have much faith in Damian Jones. But hey, now that he knows that AD is not going to be in the lineup for a month, this is his chance to go ahead and prove himself.
Damian took the alley-oops well towards the beginning of the game, but boy, was he struggling after that.
Petting my cat says my tree embarrasses your tree.
Yeah, I would agree.
Thank you, Petting.
I would agree. I enjoyed the game, and that's the most important part with the win. It was just nice to finally get one of these games in the end without having to go into overtime. I was really worried that we were going to go into overtime after Beal tied it up. And seeing him swish those 2 free throws just kind of made it worse too, because I was like, ugh, we should have been doing that for 2 of the games last week, and we'd be right now we would be sitting at, what would it be, 15 and 14?
Yeah, it would be 15 and 14 right now.
God, it's such a bummer, but I'm trying to focus on tonight's game.
Yes, please.
Because
I want to actually tell you this before. Once again, it's the Lakers fast break. It's Gerald Glassford and Joe Soro. Wanted to go ahead and ask your thoughts on this, my friend, because I tried to beat this like a drum, my friend. The transition game. The transition game is paramount. And with the Lakers, 21 points off transition, 66 points in the paint, taking it down low. I also said that early on in our live watch party, that again, it's so important for the Lakers to get transition points and to, because they know they can't shoot well on the outside, to get those points in the paint. You were getting frustrated early on with all the missed layups because it really made things harder for themselves in that first half.
Well, missed layups
you counted 6, I remember.
Yeah, and it went up to 10 at some point. It is absolutely just astonishing at how badly their layup game is. I don't know. I don't notice this in other games. Are other teams doing this?
They all do, but
I remember this. Here's what I remember. I remember we used to.
I'd have to look up the stats on cleaning the glass or something like that.
We used to get upset with Derek Fisher missing layups at least once a game. Once. Yeah. Okay? And he was known as the guy that couldn't make layups. Now, Fish is 6'1", 6'1", and he's not incredibly athletic from the NBA standpoint. So there's at least some understanding to a degree why he would be missing layups. But when you got guys that are as fast as Westbrook and as large and tall as LeBron, that's where, and then of course you have bigs that are 6'10" and 7 feet missing layups. I don't understand how this is possible. It's not being contested on these shots. Contested means, somebody in front of you with a hand, they already got a step on them. What is going on? So I don't know, but
I kind of expected tomorrow to happen because, they're going to be tired. Second game in less than 24 hours. I expected then. I don't expect it on the front half when they've already had a day of rest off.
They made up for a lot of those mistakes, though. That's probably
true.
That's LeBron. LeBron tonight. There were times where he would get into a stance to it looked like he was going to shoot a 3, and he would think twice and start going to the hole. I respected that very much. And the 2 mistakes that he made in this game, he made up for them immediately right after. So he really didn't make any mistakes tonight. No IQ possessions. That little fumble that he had at the end there, you could say that he could have done something better there. But in the end, he got the ball back, got the winning assist, and called it a night. To me, I don't give a crap how you do as long as you do it.
Mm-hmm.
And LeBron played extremely high IQ basketball tonight, and the run game tonight was pleasant to see because you saw a lot of Lonnie Walker doing his Skywalker routine with nice dunks and things like that. It was not. It's nice. It's something that we're watching a little bit more and more now, where Lakers are not just, they're building 8, 10, and 11-point leads in almost every game now. It doesn't matter if it's the Celtics or the Nuggets or the Wizards. There's some stuff that's going real well. The problem right now is this. I don't know what the hell are they. I don't know what they're doing in the back, wrapping these guys' feet, ankles. They better go get some HGH or something here, man. I don't know what the hell's going on here, but nothing is standing. There's no ability to stay healthy anywhere you go here. It's disastrous.
It is disastrous. It's really getting serious, but again, a positive win for the team. Once again, it's the Lakers fast break. It's Gerald Glassford along with Joe Soro. The Lakers did win 119-117 on a almost to the last second dunk by Thomas Bryant off of a broken play and a quick pass by LeBron James, putting the Lakers at 13-16. We'll talk about the standings and all that and where the Lakers can go and, of course, what's upcoming for the next week or so. Actually, till the end of the year. We'll talk about that here in a bit, but still focusing on this game. This is a game that they had to have because this is a team right now, a team on the road is not supposed to be that strong. You got to go ahead, even with Bradley Beal, you got to go ahead and take these games when you saw that lead dwindle down and just evaporate in the third quarter, what were your thoughts going through your head at that time?
We've said this how many times? There is no
Nausea,
lead. There is no lead anymore in the NBA. They were, what did they, I think there was a time in was it at the end of the third, in the beginning of the fourth, where they made up like 10 points in like a minute and 14 seconds?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're not even noticing it, too. It's not like, they're oh my God, the Lakers are killing it or getting killed. Yeah. It's just what it is. And then the Lakers come back when they go up 8 and they basically tie it up in a few minutes. This game has changed in so many ways. And it's not just the softness of the game, it's the ability you can't rest a second in the NBA anymore. It's over. There is no rest. You would have to have a 50-point lead going into the fourth, and watch. That 50-point lead will turn into a 28-point lead in like 7 minutes. Mm-hmm. It's just not. It's just there's too many possessions. There's too many players in the NBA that are trained to shoot balls behind the arc. So if they stink, okay, let's say you have 7 guys who stink at shooting, you're still gonna hit 3 out of 10. For 7 guys, that's 21 3-pointers. 21 3-pointers is 63 points. I mean, that's what it is, right? I'm sure that's how the analytic guys do it, right? We would rather shoot threes and make 2 or 3 versus just trying to get 2 so we get that extra point. And that's just what the NBA is. I'm slowly getting used to this 15-point lead, 12-point lead. I'm like, okay, well, let's see when the other team's going to make their run and basically get close to tying it or maybe 2 or 3 points. Now, against Denver, I think that was the first game where the role players just kind of were able to harness everything at the same time. So that one might have been the anomaly in this. But more often than not, you're going to see what we saw tonight, especially when teams are evenly matched. Or close at the very least. You have teams that are going to go battle, and for the NBA, for the fans, if you enjoy good basketball and good competition, tonight was a very, very good game to watch, especially in the middle of December. I was excited. I was in it. I didn't miss a minute of it. And I guess if you're looking for entertainment, isn't that kind of what we're doing here too? Trying to be entertained?
Valuetainment, as always, my friend.
If you're here for entertainment, tonight's game was entertaining to the end.
That it was, but when you have these games at home, you got to go ahead and finish them off, especially when you got a nice lead at halftime.
There is no finishing off. I know
it's
the
over. Joe Soro rule.
It's not a Joe Soro rule. It's the NBA rule. There is no. Look at Jokic tonight. 40, 27 and 10. That's Shaq numbers in the playoffs when Shaq
That's a monster game.
was not in his prime. Shaq had a prime pretty much for almost 12 years. This is when Shaq's prime on top of the prime was going on. He was getting those numbers. Shaq. Now you got guys like Jokic who have a 4-inch vertical getting 27 rebounds and scoring 40 points.
Let me ask you this, though. Patrick Beverley was out of the game today with some calf soreness issues. I have a feeling he's going to be brought back tomorrow night. I heard also as well, Wenyen Gabriel may be a game time decision and actually may play in tomorrow night's game as well. Your thoughts on putting Patrick Beverley back into the lineup? I have a feeling, if he does come back, he's going to be trying to be the one that's going to be the main antagonist against Devin Booker. And I'm not exactly sure that's going to be a good thing.
By the way, Eddie, if you're looking at it from an objective standpoint, it is an entertaining game, even if the Lakers lose. But from a Lakers fan perspective, that would have been a horrid game and a complete waste of time for 2.5 hours. That I agree.
That wouldn't have hurt as much as the Boston game, though.
Boston hurts because you can't, losing to Boston and then losing after doing what they did. They played unbelievable defense for 7.5 minutes, 8.5 minutes, almost 8 minutes, 8.5 minutes. Sorry. And it just, I wanted them to reap the benefits of that hard play, but it wasn't meant to be. But tonight, you win this game because you're supposed to win it, and it was entertaining. And yeah, the ball went the way it went. Well, so what? So, it is what it is. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. This time we won.
Richard, I've been saying it since the beginning of the year when he was already playing 36 minutes. It's not like 30s. He is not playing any more because AD is out of lineup than he's already been doing. He was already playing 36 to 38 minutes each and every game. And even back in the beginning of the year when he was playing 36 minutes, I was yelling to Joe and everybody out there, this is wrong. You cannot play this man this many minutes. He cannot be always this effective for you.
We have no choice right now. There's no choice. So the question now is, and I guess the season hit me today. We're only 2 months in. That means we have 1, 2, 3, 4 more months of this. And that's if we don't make the playoffs. That's just the regular season. 4 more months. And one of those months, likely month and a half, maybe 2 months, if we know AD from the past, are going to be without their MVP or co-MVP.
Even if he comes back for another, in a month, let's say AD comes back in about 4 weeks, there's a solid chance he get hurt again.
Yeah, we're starting to reach critical what is it in Aliens? Critical malfunction. What is it?
Yep.
Critical. What was it? It was something else. Anyways, we're reaching that level right now where the Lakers are going to have to make a decision at the end of the year. Should this end without a playoff berth? And I don't count the play-in as a playoff berth. That's I can't use the word. It starts with a J. There needs to be a decision made on AD's future as a Laker. Not because of his skill set, not because I don't like him or whatever, but you need to get rid of somebody like this before it's too late. And right now, it's slowly getting there. And he might be able to get used somewhere on a title contender to where they wouldn't have to push him as much as we have to push him. So there might be some benefit there where we can get some assets back and maybe get lucky and get maybe some kind of a draft pick in this year's draft if he's not coming back full strength.
Yeah, something has to happen, and I know that Richard's been asking us, Gerald and Joe, do you think we make it 1 month without AD and no trade? So, yeah, so I'll put the question to you that Richard has put to us. Do you think we're going to be okay? Do you think we're going to be a lot worse, or do you think we can be, somewhat respectable without AD and no trade?
LeBron would have to play like he did tonight, and
And
I
are you
think
going to get that each and every time out?
I,
At
I,
38
I
years
I'm
old.
not gonna sit here. I sometimes sit down and I think about how unfair I'm even at LeBron, because it's always tailing into other things besides LeBron on the court. And LeBron then does things that validate what I say about him. But at the end of the day, we're in a culture now in this game and in all sports. Heck, even Messi, by the way, congratulations there, Argentina and Lionel Messi. You could be numero uno now.
What a game, man.
Okay.
What a game.
Hey, you got, it's almost like I had a lot, you almost got more respect for Argentina for blowing the 2-goal lead and then coming back with ferociousness to end it. So
Let me ask you this. It's off the topic here a bit. And, chat room, please chime in if you want. Once again, it's a Lakers fast break. The Lakers do win 119-117 to go to 13-16 on the season. Do you think, just as a random sports weekend, I'm going to say of the year, it's probably one of the best, if not the best of the year, but this is one of the best sports weekends in quite some time with, like you said, the World Cup game, the huge record-breaking NFL comeback by the Vikings, a great game at night in Buffalo last night in the snow with the snowballs and all that. Thought that was terrific. Some great games today in the NFL. NBA had some great games. You talked about Jokic. Booker hit for 58 on Saturday against New Orleans. Some really good stuff out there, my friend.
sports is a beautiful thing. Sports takes you away from maybe some hard things going on around you. And then you see what real talent does, because you can't fake a Lionel Messi. You can't fake Devin Booker. You can't fake, a 33-point lead. That's the most. I think it was the biggest comeback in NFL history.
Yes, yeah.
By 1 point.
I love how the fact that people were so quick to point out that Matt Ryan has now given up the largest lead, or been on the team that's given up the largest lead in the regular season and in the Super Bowl.
Matt Ryan. Oh, this is going to be so brutal, because I think he's a good man. I think he's a good man. He's a good man. He really is. But he is the biggest choker I've ever seen in sports. Ever. Mitch Williams, none of those guys hold a candle to Matt Ryan. And this is not just the Super Bowl and yesterday's game. Matt Ryan has lost games where he should have won so many times in his career. It's mind-boggling on what is going on with this guy's head during those times. Is it just, did somebody just put the hex on him? Did they put the evil eye on him? I don't know what. Kyle Shanahan has had a habit of, he's lost 2 Super Bowls for basically not being able to close a game. And I don't know. I think tonight. I think this weekend could very well, and of course, what a way to end the game in Vegas. I watched the Vikings game. I was watching the Raider game. I watched the World Cup. I didn't see Devin Booker's 58 though, and
that was something to watch.
Yeah,
he heated up in that second half.
Yeah, and I'm starting to think that we're going to probably see a player here in the next 5 to 10 years that drops 80.
New Orleans had them for that dominating first half. They were up by like 23, 25, and then he just took over from there. Yeah. It was just amazing.
And then the Celtics losing twice to Orlando makes it even worse that we lost to them, because now they would be on a pretty big losing streak.
Yep.
So, and then,
watch out for Orlando.
And don't forget it's in your town, the Mr. Olympia. Chris Bumstead wins his 4th straight Classic Physique Olympia.
Yep.
My Middle Eastern brethren wins his first Hadi wins his first Open Olympia. So you had a lot of
UFC going on as well.
You had a lot of sports going on this weekend, and that's never a bad thing. That's always a good thing.
Always a good thing.
I am kind of sad that Justin Turner is no longer a Dodger, but I do want to send this out for those who are watching and Dodger fans around the country and the world. Thank you, Justin Turner, for being the Ron Say of our generation. You were a class act. You and your wife Courtney. You not only are an amazing baseball player, a world champion, a playoff MVP, a great person in the locker room. You are Mr. Dodger of our era, and I was happy to watch him play, and I hope he plays the next 2 years in Boston and gets what he needs out of that and goes off into the sunset. I'm hopefully see him in a Dodger uniform as a coach not too long from now.
JD Martinez goes one way, he goes the opposite direction. So.
And I think looking at that contract I think they had talked to Justin and said, look, we'll give you a 10-year, we'll give you a year and 10 mil. And Justin's like, look, I want to get the extra 11.
There you
so
go.
We saw
Can't
what happened there. But I think I know what's happening in Dodger land. I believe the Dodgers are going to be punting the 2023 season in anticipation, I should say, for getting this Trevor Bauer thing out of their hair first, and because that doesn't sound like it's going to be a good thing. They're probably going to have to buy him out at like 30 mil or something. But they're going to, and we're going to talk about this a year from today. Get ready, because our boy in Anaheim, your team, they're going to be throwing some bag his way.
Well, they got to get their ownership situation straightened out with Artie Moreno.
And the first thing owners do when they sell, what do?
They throw the cash.
They clean the house a little more of the cash. So I'm anticipating a 10-year, $500 million contract that's going to likely go. I would say 450 to 500 million going to Ohtani next year. Dodgers will sign him, and then that's kind of how that'll go.
Once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you joining us, watching and listening. Thanks so much. If you know anybody out there that's a Lakers fan like us that wants to get the insight and a better opinion on the Lakers than some of those other shows out there, no better place to go than the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate it. Anybody that's going out there and subscribing to our channel on YouTube or liking us on Facebook, like our videos as well. Hopefully that gets the word out to YouTube and let everybody know that we're having a great time here at the Lakers Fast Break. But before we head on out, my friend, still a lot to talk about when it comes to tonight's game and what's coming up this week. I want to go ahead and talk about it when it comes up to tonight's game. When it comes to Austin Reaves and that turned ankle, that kind of concerns me. Yeah, he was able to play it out, but it's one of those things where in less than 24 hours, you're going to see him sat down because maybe as a precautionary measure, just to make sure nothing goes wrong. And by the way, Eddie says that he doesn't believe the Dodgers are punting because of the Syndergaard signing.
Syndergaard is
okay,
not burnt toast, but well done toast.
Okay,
so
I think he's got another good season.
If they can sneak in, the problem with the Dodgers isn't the regular season. They'll manage the pitching staff during the regular season very well. The problem is Roberts doesn't know how to manage in the playoffs, and neither is Friedman's analytics. They don't work in the goddamn playoffs, but for some reason they don't listen. They don't know what the hell they're doing. And it needed, the Dodgers needed Kevin Cash to turn into Dave Roberts to win the World Series in 2020. That's what needed to happen.
We're getting back to the Lakers and tomorrow night.
Reaves showed me tonight that he's got a little Mamba blood in him.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up tomorrow wanting to play and plays. But anyway, Lonnie Walker, I don't know. Well, I'm going to guess he's not going to play. It seems like these guys, they get injured just like baseball players, and they don't play for a week. And that's kind of for precautionary reasons. And we're in a position here where there's no precautionary anywhere. We need to win every single game possible if you have any shot at trying to be competitive and get into the playoffs, and hoping that you can get a LeBron playoff guy and an AD playoff guy when you get there.
Well, I will say that you are right, Joe. According to Mike Trudell, the Lakers reporter, he did tell Mike Trudell that he plans and that he intends to play through the ankle soreness tomorrow. But surely the medical staff says, according to him, we'll see how it responds overnight. But he intends to go ahead and try and get it out.
There you go.
There you go. There you go. All right. But if that's the case, though, that's a very tough ask for them to go in less than 24 hours, playing 2 games, going to Phoenix with Devin Booker there, licking his chops right there, waiting for the Lakers to come in because he always seems to have great games against the Lakers. I know Chris Paul is not the Chris Paul that we're all used to seeing. I did see him the other night, and he looked okay, better than some of the other performances I have seen him in this season in limited action. So I know that Phoenix has not had the greatest 2-3 week period in time. In fact, they've actually lost quite a few in a row before that New Orleans game, but it's not an enviable position going into Phoenix on a back-to-back.
No, it's not. And Phoenix always seems to play their best games against the Lakers because that's just what they do. They always take advantage of the three-legged deer, which is what we are, which we've been that in practically almost every season since Nash went to Phoenix in the mid-2000s, and they have taken advantage of it. The good thing is they have only won 0 championships while we won 1 in that time. I should say 3. Sorry, 3. So anytime a Suns fan gets in my face, I just go 3. 3 since you guys have been whooping our butts in the regular season. And that's the thing.
Why'd you just go 17?
Well, because well, here's the thing. Phoenix is the second. Phoenix is only second to the Celtics in terms of a team bouncing the Lakers out of the playoffs the most. They've bounced the Lakers out of the playoffs 5 times.
Okay.
And they've done it in tragic fashion in a few of them.
True, but how many world championship banners do they have?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is I'm saying, when I gotta pull that card out, I can use it, and I try to stick to recent history too, because you'll get that. Well, why are you talking about the past? You weren't even alive when that happened. I'm like, first of all, I was alive. Yes, I wasn't old enough to remember, but okay, 3-0 in this century. Now what? Well, now what are you going to say? You got to win championships, guys. If you're beating somebody in the regular season, that's fine. Enjoy it. But at the end, your team has 0. And you should have had at least a couple during that time too. Especially a couple. I mean, you should probably have won one in 07. And you had a 2-0 lead in 2021. Why don't you got to close that out, boys? But you can't close it out. You got 0. Been in the finals 3 times, and you're this. So we have just as many titles as you have finals losses in your entire franchise career lives. Can't argue against it. It is what it is. Oh, and your owner sucks. Not the way Genie sucks. That's a different sucking.
Let's just let's move on with that conversation because it just is not going to go anywhere.
No. You're taking it in the bad area of your mind. I'm talking about stinking as an operation, not that. See, you got to get that out of your mind, man.
I got to make sure we clarify. Always got to make sure we clarify here at the Lakers Fast Break.
Stinking. I should have said stinking.
It's Joe Soro along with Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Before we end it out, want to cover some of the stuff that we're going to be able to do and cover this week. I mean, of course, there's the post game and also the live watch party for tomorrow right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break, plus also as well after the game right here on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, Twitch, and all over the place right there for you on social media. I also want to mention that coming up this week, when it comes to NBA observations, a little note was passed on to me that I'm going to have a conversation upcoming next week with TJ Johnson on how he would restructure the NBA. I don't know when I'm going to be able to record that, so it's going to be done in advance because I will be on the road. But I want to go ahead and give Joe and Sean Grice and anybody on the Lakers Fast Break panel to go ahead and answer that same question. So we will do that in a part 1 this week on Tuesday, Joe, if you want. So I'm giving you the idea now. You've talked about it in a little bit here and there about if you were running the league, what would you change? So I'm going to go ahead and give you that opportunity to go ahead and do so on our next NBA observations. That's, I think, coming up on Tuesday, if that's okay. Zangerstein, awesome as well. Zangerstein, also hit me up if you ever want to become a moderator, because we'd love to have you a moderator in the chat. Love to go ahead and give you that honor if you wanted to go ahead and take it upon you. But if you don't, no worries. That's all cool by us. These injuries are giving the Lakers front office excuses not to do their job, and it's sad. Zangerstein, we couldn't agree with you more. Joe, your thoughts on this? Because the front office, since the 15th, has gotten even more heat because, again, 88% of the entire league is now eligible for a trade.
They're not going to make a trade and give up their only draft assets that are, well, not only, but main assets. They're not going to do it unless it's for a superstar who can make a difference, who could lead this team to a title run, or I not take the 1 and 2 and 27 and 29. That's it. There is nothing else to talk about, guys. We know what's going on. We're smart. They either are going to make a trade that doesn't include those picks, or they are going to include those picks for someone who is in their prime and can help this team win a championship. That's it. It's over. Get over it. AD has shown at this point 3 years in a row that he cannot stay healthy. So if they're sitting there, if we're sitting, we've criticized Jeannie and Rob and rightfully so. But just like I've been saying this last few weeks on this show, every week, one of the things that you want to do in life, it's very, very important. I'm not going to be some life guru guy. Okay. That's not my thing, but I'm telling you, each week, each month, each game, whatever, is going to tell you what you need to do next. You have to be adaptable. At this point, it's no longer about whether Rob and Jeannie are right, wrong. As of today, we know as of today that there's no point in making a trade for Turner, Hield, Gordon, whoever, and give up assets when it doesn't mean a lick to winning a championship. It might have mattered 3 days ago. It doesn't matter now. Now, you can blame them for creating this, right? You can blame them. Let's say, well, if you had better players, maybe you wouldn't have had to work AD hard.
So this just change your perspective, because you said always, Gerald, give him 1 year. And I was like on the fence, off the fence. Should we trade him? Should we look another direction? Should we stay on? Oh, he's doing awesome. Let's go ahead on that. Does this change your perspective now that he's out a month?
Yeah, it does. It does, because it's 3 years in a row. Now it's no longer a freak, somebody landed on his ankle type situation. You know, Andrew Bynum got landed on his knee back-to-back seasons.
Yep.
And he was an injury-prone player. Maybe the fact that they landed on his leg, it wasn't really so much that they landed on his leg. It was the fact that his bones are brittle, and when they did land on it, it's bad. I used to see Shaq get landed on practically every other day. And Shaq would miss games. I'm not saying he didn't miss games, but Shaq missed games differently than what these guys.
Wasn't there mentioned something in one of the docs about Andrew Bynum is his medicals? But
yeah, his knees when they were evaluating his legs, his knees are very good. I don't know about that hat though. You might want to do something different there. But
what do you mean? This hat is awesome. It's a Lakers Santa hat.
The knee knock. They said this kid's not going to last long with this knee knock. And they were right. So
bah humbug to you, Joe.
So that right there told you that Bynum only had probably a 5-7 year window, and that's what we got. And luckily, we won 2 championships with him, and he was able to muster a pretty good year in 2012, make the All-Star team. As a matter of fact, I think he started. And then was good enough for us to ship him out to Philly to do nothing there.
Yep.
In the Dwight Howard trade.
He tried to get back into the league later on.
Yeah, but the constant injuries and parking in the handicapped spots in broad daylight, shooting threes at the not at the behest of Mike Brown, which I got a kick out of, by the way. Yeah, he had the attitude of I liked his attitude. I'll be honest. I thought he was one of those guys that was actually pretty honest. And sometimes, I don't know, I admire people who are honest, even if they're kind of kooky. But it, it's, those people, some of these people know what they're doing and they know how to assess things. And as far as Rob and Jeannie are concerned for this particular team, you could look back and say if they'd had more depth, maybe AD would last. But AD's been locker room guy, like, during the game. He had that reputation before he came to LA. Every other game, he was always doing something, and he'd end up walking to the locker room. You can call him soft, or you can call him injury prone. Either way, we snuck out a title with him. And at this point, 3 years in a row, you're going to need to now really evaluate whether you're going to want to build around this guy.
And just let's make clear, this trade, no matter what we gave up, is a win because you got the title out of it. Okay. Yeah. Even if it's just one title, it is still a championship title. Even if it's a bubble championship that people always clown on us for, it is still a bubble championship. It is still an NBA World Championship you won with Anthony Davis. We've seen Anthony Davis at the peak of his powers, but we've also seen him without those powers more often than we can count. So you have to put things in perspective. When we ask or say that we think maybe it's time for a consideration of an Anthony Davis trade on the table to go ahead and recoup some of the picks and the money and it's kind of the things that you could do with your cap space and the depth on your roster by trading an Anthony Davis just on the potential alone. It all depends, I think, on a certain number of factors, where the Lakers stand. And that's one of the things I want to ask you before we head on out, my friend. The Lakers still have, as of this point, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games before the end of the year. Can they make it back to 500 before the end of the year?
Well, the schedule is favorable to end the season.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here.
At Phoenix, at Sacramento. Hopefully they won't light the beam there.
So
they're home versus Charlotte, and then at Christmas at Dallas.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of Dallas.
And then it goes the ultra scolding hot Orlando Magic on Tuesday the 27th. Then the next day, a tough one back-to-back because you got at Miami, and that's usually a loss for the Lakers.
That Florida run always had been a problem for us until LeBron came. I remembered, I think we might have swept that Florida run with LeBron.
I think we did, but it's still the back-to-back, the Miami game especially, that's always tough for them.
Sure.
And then we end the year right there on the 30th at Atlanta, which Atlanta is just all over the place right now, struggling, and they're really talking. So,
well, you got 7. So if you go 3 and 4 to end the year, I think that's very realistic. 3 and 4 to end the year, you're looking at 15 and 20, which is weird.
Side thinks that we can.
Yeah,
that they can.
15 and 20. If we can get lucky and go 4 and 3, we're looking at a 16 and 19 end of the year run, and you'll be 2 weeks in on a month sabbatical for AD.
Z, I cannot stand the tiny ball as much as you. I really cannot stand it. It's not just the fact that it's tiny. It's just, who are the tiny players involved? Can any of them shoot? No. They all do essentially the same things in many cases. So that's the problem with this tiny ball. And if Darvin Ham does go back to it, even by the fact that he doesn't have many options on the bench at times, it's still not a good option. And I agree with you on that.
I think we're at that spot where Darvin Ham in the first 2 months has shown me that he has massively improved this team's ability to focus a little bit more on getting better. They started out the gate not doing that, and they slowly started getting a little bit more chemistry and a little bit better in their focus. It's not where I want it. It's not where it's not where I want it to be, but how do you get that from a team that's just doesn't have enough talent to do what we want them to do? So today I heard on the radio that the New England Patriots are not a very well-disciplined team. This is a team that has Bill Belichick as its head coach. What that told me by hearing that is that it's got nothing to do with discipline anymore. It's talent, guys. You can only do so much. They ran today, guys. They ran. I watched it. They were running. They were trying to run. And LeBron didn't make low IQ plays tonight. And the one missed layup I think he should have had, he came right back and made up for it. And that's all you can ask for. You make a mistake, you come back out and you recover from it. And I'll give you, I call that the Hines Ward result. Hines Ward was one of the best players in any sport. He'd do something wrong, which was very rare. But when he did, it was almost like a dynamite went into him. And he goes on the next play and catches a 15-yard, out route and gets a first down. It was like I would predict it, and people would look at me like I was Karnak the Great, right? They're like, how the hell did you know he was going to do that? I go, dude, I've never missed a game in the 21st century. I've watched these guys play. I know what's going on. Habits and routine and consistency. These things, after a while, just like a good gambler. Gee, you know this. You're in Vegas. A good gambler will have that feel. Once you get that feel, you know. If you're a Laker fan and you're watching every game, you know that feel. You're going to have it. And the feel right now on this team is they're squeezing everything they can out of this team's talent. They're trying to squeeze it. They're squeezing it all. And what else can you do? There's nothing else you can do. This team needs more talent to supplant LeBron and AD. And if they can't, you're going to get their best. They're giving you their best shot, but it's just not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough.
And I don't blame, us a bit for arguing about it, but something has to be done. I know that when it comes to the trade scenarios, I know that it comes to the talk, the chatter is now even higher than it was before in the past few days. I've seen it, and it's the crazy trades are out there. You're going to hear a lot of rumors. It irritates me to no end. Yes, I see all the crazy trade rumors that Laker Tom puts out there, but it's kind of funny and it's kind of, okay. He just gets it so Twitter can get at him and get him in an uproar, or Lakerholics so Jamie Sweet can yell at him and back and forth and all that. But when it comes to seeing all these reputable places, quote unquote reputable, and you see them putting out rumor after rumor and after rumor, and it just it starts to get it just becomes like background noise. It just becomes like white noise just going through, and I just ignore it and put it out there because none of it's true, man. Not even close.
I don't know what's going to happen on the trade front. For the Lakers to justify a trade at this point, and Russell Westbrook still needs to go. It's not about his play really. It's more of we need to make sure we protect that $47 million. And by protecting it, we allow ourselves a chance to improve the team either in the summer or the following year, next year. You have LeBron for another year after next year. So if there's a chance where you might be able to get somebody at the deadline or after December 15th of 2023, 2024, you have to give yourself that shot. But that's going to depend on if the Lakers are going to be willing to spend a little extra money on the cap or the luxury tax, which as of right now doesn't sound like they are. If they just let Nunn and Beverly and Westbrook's contracts run out, it is the final nail in the coffin of the inept ability of this organization to run this basketball team. This CBA was set up to guarantee players half the money, which means you have to trade contracts. You have to employ these high salaried players, not because you need to pay them that money, but because that's what moves things. And if you don't have any draft picks that you want to give up, you got to give up contracts. So pick one. I need you guys to pick one, or If you don't do anything, you have basically said to LeBron and lied to him and said, we're just going to milk you until you retire.
I'm just going to say this. I think as well, got to be the shoes that right now, nobody wants the Brody, aka Russell Westbrook. I think that as it gets closer to that trade deadline, you're going to see some of these teams that are kind of disappointing or kind of middling, right around 500 or below, that actually were thought of in a little bit better fashion, because the more you see teams like Golden State, the more you see teams like, oh man, let's put Minnesota in there. Dallas, what if they start to fall? If Luka gets hurt, they're going to go down as far as below 500. You see the teams in the East. You see a Chicago team that was actually competing for the top of the East last year, and now Lonzo's out. My gosh, they're in a heap of trouble. Washington, they're 11-20 after they signed Bradley Beal to that big fat extension. You've got Toronto, really, since they beat the Lakers, they've gone off the rails with 13-17 record. Indiana, who we talked about before as far as being that big trade partner, they were doing so well. Well, they haven't been doing so well lately. They've only won 3 out of their last 10. They're now below 500. They could be looking to go ahead and finally make some moves. Atlanta, they're 15-15 right now. Miami 16-15. So all these teams could be seeing a different perspective by the time February comes around. So maybe Russell Westbrook's contract is just that much more attractive at $47 million coming off the books.
Looking at the Chicago setup, Chicago would have to go into, let's say, the last 2 weeks of the trade deadline and go, do we want to get rid of that last year of DeRozan's contract? Do we really want him on the team next year, or do we want to open up do we want to, let's say, tank? Do we want to tank enough to where we can maybe get some sought-after player here in the draft, which will be, again, the rumor is this is the most stacked draft since 2003. If that's the case.
What are you talking about for 23, the summer of 23?
The summer of 23.
Yeah, now, we can't remember. We still can't. We don't have a choice in. We don't.
No. Listen, no. I'm talking the teams that are going to want to trade.
Okay. I thought you were talking about the Lakers.
No, the team that wants to trade their extended contracts, meaning beyond 2023.
Yeah.
Because they either want to not have that extra 30 mil plus whatever. Mm-hmm. We're going to need obviously 47 to match Westbrook's. So it could be 2 or 3 guys. If they go into January, end of January, going, guys, you know what? We ain't doing jack squat this year. We're coming up on a draft that's going to be stacked. If we don't make the playoffs, we might be able to get lucky and get a top 5 pick, blah, 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 and maybe get someone who could really set this thing apart, set this, ablaze.
Even with the new TV contract and the new CBA, that's still that $47 million coming off the books at the end of this year. If you got a team that's underperforming and they have to pay a tax if they don't do it, that's going to be that by the 15th of February or whenever that trade deadline is, which I think it is February 15th, it is going to become much more valuable.
So now let's talk Chicago. DeRozan has another year on his contract. It's at $28 million, I believe.
Yeah.
And then you got is it Vucevic?
No, Vucevic.
Vucevic, right? I always get those ones.
No, Vucevic was in the Sands.
By the way, Sasha was at the game today. Hello, Sasha. Thank you for the clutch 2 free throws in Game 7.
Hold on. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. It's there you go.
All right.
There you go. Anyways, thanks for cutting me off again.
Only I can do.
So let's say Chicago goes, you know what? We got to get out of these contracts. We got to get out of at least 2 of these contracts. So you have Vucevic.
Why can't I say? He played at SC, man.
Okay, Vucevic, first of all, he's an expiring contract. I don't think he'll be a part of that anyways. What they would want to move is they would want to move Zach LaVine first, which I wouldn't move that guy.
Signed him to
I wouldn't move. I wouldn't take that contract in a billion years. But if you can get a DeRozan and then a couple, I would love to get Caruso back. You can make that work. If Chicago says, all right, guys, give us one of your first round picks. Give us the 29 pick. Just give us the 29 pick. Okay. We'll give you back Caruso, DeRozan, and some change, and a second round pick for your expiring contract. That might change some things, especially if AD in some miracle stays healthy and the Lakers are in the playoffs. I'm trying to give you guys some hope. I guess that happens to me when the Lakers win.
Kenny, my cat says, if Pelinka gave up all our assets, then AD got hurt, people would ridicule his.
That is why it's better to not do anything at this point, because you know AD is going to get hurt. Why would you chance it? If AD wasn't going to get hurt, I'm pretty sure they probably would have made a deal by now. But or they'd have something on in the books ready to go. It's just the problem with Rob and Jeannie is what they didn't do before. I'm not talking about right now. Right now, it's easy to say, look, they're making the right calls right now, but they shouldn't be in this position. They shouldn't have been in this position. And we are where we are right now, and I'm not going to live in the past. Let's focus on now and the future, and that's it. Now, if they go into the offseason without anything, you have to seriously shop AD. You got to see if you can get 2 or 3 first-round picks, even if they're late first-round picks, again, because those are trade assets. And then you get a couple players that are going to work with LeBron. LeBron needs shooters, guys. It's not rocket science. LeBron is going to get people the ball his whole career. If you want to talk about the greatness of LeBron James, he might not be the best free throw shooter. He might not be the most clutch player of all time. He might be polarizing off the court. But there's one thing that guy mastered in the 20 years he's been in the NBA, and that's the ability to get separation, go to the hole, and find your butt open at the corners, at the sides. Doesn't matter where it was. He absolutely mastered that game. And you could say he's arguably the greatest at doing that without even saying, without hesitation.
Without hesitation, indeed. But once again, it's the Lakers fast break. Lakers did win 119-117 in thrilling fashion, no less. We'll be back again for a live watch party at playback.tv/Lakers fast break. Also, as well, of course, the post game right here at YouTube. Also, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter. We're all over the place right now, all thanks to Mellon. So we truly appreciate what Mellon has done for us as far as being able to stream out the Lakers fast break all over the internet. Want to go ahead and make sure that you can follow us so you can get the latest notifications of when we go live on the air. So follow us or go ahead and subscribe to us today. But Joe, before we head on out, again, you said that the Lakers, even with AD out of the game right now for at least a month, you think they can get back to 500 before the end of the year? It's doable?
Probably not. They'd have to win tomorrow to give us that hope, because then it would make them 14-16, and then you can go into Sacramento. And who are they playing on Friday?
After that, they're playing at Charlotte. They're at home against
Charlotte. Yeah, if you win tomorrow, you could be 500 by the end of the week. There's a legitimate shot. But I just don't see how they can beat Phoenix on a back-to-back tomorrow with a one-legged Austin Reaves, even though he's battling, and then Lonnie Walker likely not playing. And, is Wenyen Gabriel going to make that much of a difference? I don't think so. I'd love to see it, but it doesn't look good.
Well, we'll see what happens, my friend. I appreciate so much, as always, your insight. You've been tremendous, as always. But before we head on out, want to go ahead and mention as well that the Lakers Fast Break will be doing episodes this week as well. On Tuesday, it's the NBA Observations. Joe, I do know that we want to go ahead and hit the 2012 Lakers as far as when we hit back to Lakers Fast Break University, but When would you like to do that? Would you like to say it is officially, off for the holiday and then just go ahead, come back after the new year, or do you want to hold another class before the end of the new
Do
year?
you want to talk about 2012? You mean like the movie, how it coincided with the movie too?
No, the disastrous Lakers team. Unfortunately, you know exactly what I mean.
Yeah, that wasn't the world supposed to end in 2012,
Yes, according to
according to
John
the
Cusack.
according to the Mayan calendar. Anyways,
According to John
I thought
Cusack,
we were
the
going to
limit
talk about.
writer.
I thought we were going to talk. I think it would be fitting to talk about right now or this week about what changes we can make
Absolutely.
in the NBA, because that's a
If
very
Joe was the commissioner, and maybe Sean or somebody else can pop on as well, we'll go ahead and do an NBA observations on what Joe would do if he were commissioner. I know I'm going to have a conversation with TJ Johnson upcoming on that subject, so I thought I'd let you go ahead and do it as well, my friend.
yeah. It's going to be this TV. The TV contracts have changed sports in so many ways, and it became clear after COVID how important those contracts are. They made fan participation not even secondary. It's like maybe fourth now. When in the past, if the tickets weren't being bought, butts weren't in the seats or in the benches, and they weren't buying food, that's when teams were not viable and the owners would have to sell a team. That is no longer the case in any of these sports. The TV contracts pretty much allow these owners to sit back, make all their money, and then decide on what extra money they want to make. Corporate sponsors have changed a little bit more. You got more and more of that money going there, and a lot of these corporations are wondering why employees can't stand them. Well, they keep buying all these boxes and sport tickets while people want more pay and stuff like that, and that plays a factor in the information that matters in this thing. I mean, it's sad. It's sad to say this, and I enjoyed watching the World Cup. I'm not much of a soccer guy, even though I grew up in a soccer family. I just think it's too soft for my taste. I like collision.
I like playing it better than I like watching.
Look. I'm a sports guy. I
I'm
still
gonna be
enjoy.
honest with you.
I still enjoy watching soccer to some degree.
I
But
don't
this-
mind. I like it, but I
but
enjoyed playing it so much more the years I was playing it.
Yeah, it's just every time you watch some guy fall, it's like 12 gauge to the leg. Really? Like, come on. How many times are you guys going to overreact on everything? It's just it's a little too. I like violence. I like boxing. I like football. I like MMA to a degree. I don't like too much violence because that one can tend to get a little out of hand. Because I do feel bad for these guys. A lot of these guys, they start to deteriorate like after 2 or 3 years fighting. But in the end, what I would change in the NBA, there's not really a lot I change because I'm actually pretty happy with a lot of things they're doing. I just think they need to allow a little bit more physicality and not this wasting of time. They waste so much time now on these stupid fouls. What is a tech one? What is a tech two? Look, if you got to review something to see how bad it is it really that bad? I mean, that's a common sense question, is it not? It's like asking me, Joe, is this guy a Hall of Famer? Well, if you have to ask, no. When you say Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, LaDainian Tomlinson, Troy Polamalu, like, there's no hesitation. Yes, yes, yes. Well, what about this guy? Well, no. I think we need to simplify things a little more. I think that's kind of what that discussion will be. Simplify it. You're talking about people who are going to put their hands up and try to block a shot. Sometimes it rubs them in the head. Now, if somebody's doing this, you can see it. You got all the technology to see it. You can tell that they were trying to unleash harm. But if it's something where they're jumping in the air and they happen to hit the guy in the head, do we really need a 14 freaking minute review? And just to tell this guy, hey, by the way, you shouldn't have done it that way. Well, what the you can't just stop in midair, and not hit somebody. It just doesn't make any sense.
I think the great comment below by Zangerstein says it best as far as the dichotomy of our season is when she's asking that Austin, Lonnie, and Max that they need to play 35 plus minutes tomorrow if they can. Now you ponder that, my friend. Austin Reaves, we had such great hopes for, and it's actually for the most part been very consistent now. So it really looks like he's going to be a contributing player going forward. Lonnie was everyone out there, from not just the fans, but also the pundits out there, an individual who everybody was thinking would be a bust, where we're seeing Kendrick Nunn is now as far as a mid-level contract that he got. And Max Christie, I had even quoted and I even saw and observed that, he looked overmatched at times, even in summer league, and that he needed a couple years seasoning. Just give him some time in the G League and let his shot come around and see where it goes from there. Well, this is where we're at right now. Max has played beyond his level of where his experience level's at. He's actually shooting extremely well for us here at the big level. So I'm really happy that he's progressed faster at that end. Still needs to bulk up and get a little stronger, but yeah, he definitely has a brighter future earlier rather than later. And Lonnie and Austin have done their part. So that tells you where we're at right now as an organization, with all these ifs, ands, or buts finally coming together to at least be now an integral part of the Lakers rotation.
Well, another find in the late rounds in Max Christie. Max Christie has a very calming disposition. He's on that level of being a 3-and-D guy. He's got the length. When he adds about 15 to 20 pounds, he'll have the size, but he has the mindset. You just got to get rid of that mop top, though. That mop top is terrible. Other than that, you let this guy kind of develop the next 2 to 3 years, but then again, Rob didn't sign him beyond 3 years. So is this guy going to blossom?
That was another dumb move. I said that even then. I said that then. Did I not?
Yeah. Are you going to keep letting these guys? So Zangerstein, you said that these guys should be playing 35 minutes a game. So Austin Reaves played 33 minutes. Lonnie played 34. They probably would have played more if they didn't get injured. So they're at that age where they're going to be able to play those minutes, and they were very effective tonight. Max is going to start getting more time because we're desperate, and he's actually showing some things. And
he's
Nunn,
tall.
And he's tall, and Nunn, and geez, Troy Brown Jr. What is wrong with this guy? What is going on with this guy? Why can't he focus in games enough? So what else do you got? And you can't depend on Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook will make the most amazing pass for 2 points, and then literally 10 seconds later make the dumbest pass and completely destroy what he just did 10 seconds ago. There's no consistency with him. It's a freaking as Jekyll and Hyde as it can get.
Zangerstein, I said Max Christie is doing way beyond my expectations in his first year, but I said it then, even when he was raw. You got to let the kid play out. You got to give the kid, like what I'm seeing, all the picks around him, like Jaden Hardy, some others. Hardy, I think, is going to be a good one for Dallas. But there's kids in the second round picked right around where he was that were given 4 and 5 year contracts, signed to about $1 million, $2 million a year, really cheap contracts that are going to go ahead and pay off in the end, because then you sign them to an extension after that, et cetera, et cetera. In this case, he signed them to a shorter, I think like you said, 3-year contract, and he's going to be a free agent that much sooner. We saw what happened with THT, and then you ended up, you re-signed him as a restricted free agent, but it ended up costing you a lot more, a lot sooner.
And all you got back was a broken down Pat Bev.
Yep.
So you've given away a developed Caruso, a somewhat developed THT. The guy could still be a productive bench guy, right? Because last year we didn't
even though he's only had spurts with Utah.
Hey,
he's out of the rotation currently.
You're not supposed to have these guys. A second round pick in the NBA or an undrafted player is not supposed to be a starter. A lot of times they're not even supposed to be 6 guys. If they are, we're lucky. They were the ones that transcended that, right? But Those players are the players you want in the regular season to play 23, 25 minutes to spell your guys. And they're somewhat effective coming off the bench, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys. Not expecting them to hit open threes when that's not what their game is. I mean, that's what killed us with THT last year. You kept putting him in a position to be a 3-and-D guy. That's not who he is. The Lakers need to stop letting their developed players go. If you want to build some continuity here, you need to keep the glue guys here. But I don't know if that's something they care about. Doesn't look like they do.
And that's a shame indeed. Again, it's the Lakers fast break. The Lakers did pull out a nice victory today, 119-117 over the Washington Wizards. We will be back tomorrow night for, of course, the playback.tv/Lakers fast break live Lakers watch party. And of course, after that, our now infamous post games with myself, Joe Soro, and hopefully any one of the number of crazy and wonderful Lakers fast break crew. Joe, it was a great game indeed. Any thoughts before we head into another week of the NBA, before the Christmas holiday game coming up on a week from today in Dallas?
Well, I'd like to battle. I'm predicting that they're probably going to lose tomorrow, but I'd like to see if they can pound the Kings in Sacramento on Wednesday, beat Charlotte on Friday, and then lay the smackdown on Luka on Sunday.
If they can go in 3 out of 4, I will be extremely pleased with that. I think that's asking a lot, and I think that would be really cool.
But it's not having AD is just a bummer, man. It's Groundhog's Day over and over again.
Z, I just want to say, Z, if it's all on you, Z, no worries. If not, no worries. Just lay it out there to you. Just, I'm offering it out to you. Just go ahead and need some help, because you see every now and then I'm looking at other tabs and I come back and there's like I won't say the name of the individuals that come on, that, the bots that come on, they always seem to pop up when I'm looking at other, scores or the tabulations or just the stats from the game. It's always funny when it comes up like that. And I always turn around and there they are. So, but also, I think it would make a great moderator as well. But if not, no worries. You just don't want any of that. That's no problem. I can't even moderate Joe, and he's one of our moderators.
Yeah, moderating me is just not something that happens. You can't cage a lion.
No, that's for sure indeed. But once again, it's the Lakers fast break. Truly appreciate everyone out there. Z, you were awesome again. Johnny 2K6, Howard Hill, just truly appreciate it. All the entire crew of the best Lakers chat that's out there right here at the Lakers fast break. Richard, you're awesome as well. Thanks so much to everybody that got to be the shoes, always petting my cat, always team replay, # team replay. This is cool, my friend Joe. I'm telling you, I've got all these little idiosyncrasies with everybody out there. Everybody's got their own thing going here in our chat. Eddie, there you go. Big shout out to you. Even your good friend Jordan was in the chat today. What did you think about that?
I don't think much of it.
Oh, okay. Fair enough indeed. Also want to give a big shout out to my good friend, Mr. John McCallion. If you go ahead and get a chance, he always talks some great issues, tough issues, a lot of good issues that he talks over with some good chats. So go ahead and check out the John McCallion channel. Go ahead and subscribe to that after you, of course, you subscribe to ours as well. Again, Lakers Fast Breaks. You get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air. Joe Donald from Lakers Ball Game Time Chat called that TB Gaming winning dunk. Oh, that was awesome. He called
his name is Donald Drumpf, and
okay,
he's usually pretty negative. So
wonder how that can happen.
When you're not negative, you become positive.
A double negative is a positive.
And so we're trying to give him some props so that we're not always on him, right? We're always like, why always negative? Well, he predicted the TV dunk.
Predicted indeed. But you can always, if you have any questions about the Lakers, for us, all the stuff that you go ahead and say afterwards. I always try to respond right there below. If you're watching this on YouTube, Facebook, I also see as well. Big shout out to Joshua, our super fan on Facebook. Also as well, Twitter, Twitch. You see this all over the place now. Thanks so much to Melon for allowing us the opportunity to go ahead and stream this out to a multi-platform of everything out there. So once again, Dr. Nukes. We forgot about Dr. Nukes.
Yeah,
He
Dr.
actually had some
Nukes.
good. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Dr. Nukes was dropping nukes in the playback. He was
Yeah.
saying some good stuff, and I was just putting fires next to his comments every time.
Juan Velasquez, yeah, tell him, actually great chat we had today. Just looking forward to what's going to go on tomorrow. The Lakers can stay competitive and don't run out of gas too quickly. I'm hoping it'll be a good competitive game, but we'll see. Once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. We'll be on tomorrow, of course, playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. And of course, the week before Christmas, we'll be on tomorrow night. Hoping we will feel a little bit of your holiday cheer right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Have a great week, everyone. Happy holidays. You want to be pleasantly surprised tomorrow? So do I.